I always thought love was about giving, about sacrificing, about making sure the person you love never has to want for anything. That was how I loved Emily. I gave her my time, my heart, my future, and of course, my money. She was everything I ever wanted, beautiful, charming, with this effortless grace that made people stop and stare. From the moment we met, she made me feel like I was the center of her world, and I ate it up like a starving man. Hello, I'm glad you're here. Before we even get into this story, I want to thank you for your support. If you're only watching for the first time, welcome to Anonymous Stories. Subscribe to our channel for daily uploads of memorable stories that will make your day. Counting on your support. Alright, so back to our story. We had been together for 4 years, and in that time, I had built a life around her. When she mentioned that she always dreamed of owning her own boutique, I didn't hesitate. I funded it. When she said she wanted to move into a high-rise apartment with a city view, I bought it. When her old car broke down, I surprised her with a brand-new luxury vehicle sitting in the driveway with a big red bow on top. She was my queen, and I wanted her to have everything. Emily made it easy to believe she loved me just as much. She had this way of looking at me, eyes filled with warmth, her lips curling into a soft smile whenever she whispered, "I don't know what I'd do without you, James." I believed her, but love makes you blind, and in my case, it made me stupid. At first, the changes were small, barely noticeable. She started canceling dates more often, last-minute texts saying she was tired or dealing with work stress at the boutique. I understood. Running a business wasn't easy, and I told her to take all the time she needed. But then, she stopped picking up my calls right away. I'd ring her phone, and it would go to voicemail. Hours later, she'd text me a vague excuse, "Sorry, babe, my phone was on silent." What's up? It happened again and again, always some excuse. She left her phone in another room. She was too busy. She fell asleep early. It was strange, but I didn't push. I trusted her. Then there was her phone behavior. Emily had always been open with me before, casually using her phone around me, leaving it on the table, even handing it to me sometimes to check something for her. But lately, she started keeping it face down. She wouldn't even glance at it when a message popped up, just a quick swipe to clear the notification. And if I walked into the room while she was texting, she'd lock the screen instantly, sliding the phone into her pocket or turning it over. I laughed it off at first. She's just being private. Everyone needs space. But there was this feeling in my gut, this nagging whisper in the back of my mind telling me something wasn't right. Then came the missed weekends. Saturday nights used to be ours. We'd go to fancy restaurants, take late-night drives, or just stay in watching movies, wrapped up in each other. It was our thing. But suddenly, she started being too busy. I have to stay late at the boutique. One of the suppliers is messing up an order. I need to fix it. I promised my friend I'd help her with something. Rain check? It was gradual, subtle enough that I didn't immediately see the pattern. Then one night, as I lay alone in bed staring at the ceiling, it hit me. I was the one always reaching out. The one always calling, always making plans, always waiting. When was the last time she made an effort for me? When was the last time she texted first? The realization made my stomach twist. I told myself it was nothing. I was just overthinking, right? Love required trust, and Emily had given me no reason to doubt her. So, I did what any blindly devoted fool would do. I pushed the doubts away. I convinced myself that she was stressed, that the boutique was demanding too much of her, that she was just tired. Relationships had ups and downs, right? This was just a phase. I even blamed myself. Maybe I wasn't doing enough. Maybe she felt neglected. Maybe she was just too comfortable knowing I'd always be here. So I did what I did best. I gave her more. I started sending little surprises, flowers, expensive gifts, handwritten notes. I even booked a weekend getaway for us at a private beach resort, hoping it would bring back the spark. But every time I tried to pull her closer, she seemed to drift further away. And deep down, a part of me knew. I just wasn't ready to face it yet. If someone had told me then that a single TikTok video would shatter the illusion I was clinging to, I would have laughed. But the truth has a funny way of revealing itself. And when it did, it wasn't gentle. It was a wrecking ball. And I was about to wake up from the perfect illusion and step into a nightmare. Nights alone had become a new normal for me. Emily was busy again, this time with a headache so bad she needed to rest early. I had offered to come over, bring her soup, rub her back, anything to make her feel better. "No, babe, I just need sleep," she had said in that soft, exhausted voice. "I'll call you in the morning. Love you." I had sighed, told her to take care, and hung up. Now, I was lying in bed, scrolling through TikTok mindlessly, drowning in the glow of my phone screen. Distractions were my therapy. Swipe. A funny dog video. Swipe. A guy pranking his girlfriend. Swipe. A rooftop party. I wasn't even paying attention at first. Just another influencer showing off their exclusive night out. Loud music, flashing lights, people laughing and dancing under the city skyline. It looked like one of those high-end clubs where the rich and reckless spent their nights. But then, something caught my eye. A familiar silhouette. My thumb hovered over the screen, and for some reason, my heart skipped a beat. I squinted at the blurry crowd in the background. My breathing slowed. And then, there she was. Emily, standing under the neon glow, pressed against some man. And then, she kissed him. My entire body went cold. I sat up so fast my phone almost slipped from my hands. My thumb shook as I scrolled back, watching the video again. And again. It was her. Same dark waves of hair. Same red dress, the one I bought her for our anniversary. Same soft, delicate hands running through his hair. I couldn't breathe. I had to be imagining this. Maybe I was overtired. Maybe it was a look-alike. I went to the comments section, scanning desperately. Best rooftop party ever. I swear I saw my ex here, lol. Damn, what club is this? And then, the girl in the red dress, though eyes fire. My stomach dropped. This wasn't just my imagination. Other people had noticed her too. I forced myself to pause the video at the exact moment her face turned toward the camera. It was her. No doubt. And then, just to make it worse, I checked the timestamp. 11:47 p.m. Same night. Same hours she was supposed to be home. Sick? I stared at my phone, feeling something dark and poisonous rise in my chest. I wanted to be wrong. I needed to be wrong. But there was no excuse for this. She had looked me in the eyes earlier, told me she was in bed, told me she was tired, while she was out kissing someone else. The betrayal burned like acid in my gut. I felt like an idiot. I had been drowning in my own devotion, refusing to see the truth. The canceled dates. The missed calls. The way she was always too busy for me. It wasn't work stress. It wasn't exhaustion. It was him. The anger in my chest boiled over. But I wasn't going to explode. Not yet. Because if she was capable of lying this easily, of betraying me this completely, then I needed to know the full truth. I wasn't going to confront her yet. I needed proof. And when I had it, she was going to lose everything. I was never the kind of man who acted on impulse. Sure, the rage burned inside me like wildfire, but I wasn't about to storm over to Emily's place and start throwing accusations. No, that would give her the chance to lie, to twist the truth, to gaslight me into believing I was overreacting. I wasn't about to give her that power. I needed evidence. Cold, hard, unquestionable proof. So, I did what any man with resources would do. I hired a private investigator. The next morning, I made a few calls and got in touch with Daniel Cole, a seasoned investigator who came highly recommended. His voice was gruff over the phone, the kind of guy who had seen enough betrayals to never be surprised. "You got a gut feeling or solid reason to suspect her?" he asked. I almost laughed. "I saw her on TikTok, kissing another man." Daniel let out a low whistle. "Damn, that's cold. All right, send me her details, where she works, her usual hangouts, anything useful. I'll get to work right away." I gave him everything. Emily's boutique, the places she liked to visit, even the car I had bought her. Daniel assured me he'd be discreet, and for the next few days, I waited. It was the longest week of my life. Emily acted as if nothing had changed. She still sent me her usual good morning, love texts. She still called me babe. She still told me she loved me. I wanted to scream. Instead, I played along. I acted like the same devoted boyfriend, making plans, pretending I didn't see right through her. Every time she canceled on me, I knew. Every time she claimed she was too busy, I knew. I just had to wait. Then, on a quiet Thursday evening, my phone buzzed. Daniel had everything I needed. I met him at a small diner outside the city, somewhere discreet. He slid a thick manila envelope across the table, his expression unreadable. "You sure you want to see this?" he asked. "Once you do, there's no going back." I swallowed hard, gripping the envelope. "Show me." Inside, I found everything. Hotel receipts. Multiple stays at five-star hotels, all booked under a familiar name. Text messages, screenshots between Emily and him, filled with flirtation, secrets, and plans to meet. Photographs, Emily in another man's car. Emily laughing at an upscale restaurant. Emily wrapped in his arms outside a luxury penthouse. I clenched my fists so hard my nails dug into my palms. Who is he? My voice was tight, controlled, but inside, I was a storm. Daniel exhaled. Guy's name is Damian Black. Owns a string of nightclubs downtown. Rich, connected, and definitely not her first side piece. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. Emily wasn't just cheating. She was playing an entirely different life behind my back. How long? I asked, my throat dry. Daniel flipped through his notes. At least 6 months, maybe more. She's been seeing him regularly, but from what I gathered, she's keeping you around for stability. Damien? He's the thrill. You? You're the investment. The words hit harder than I expected. I had spent 4 years giving Emily everything. My love, my money, my time. And the entire time, she had been using me, keeping me like some financial safety net while she entertained another man in luxury suites. It wasn't just betrayal. It was humiliation. I closed the envelope, exhaling slowly. "I assume you're not planning on forgiving her," Daniel said, watching me carefully. I let out a bitter laugh. Forgive? No. She's about to lose everything. The rage in me had settled into something far deadlier. I could have confronted Emily right then and there, thrown the evidence in her face, and watched her scramble for excuses. But that wasn't enough. I wanted her to feel it. I wanted her to watch everything she had taken for granted slip away. So, I started planning. Step by step, piece by piece, I would erase the life I had built for her. The luxury apartment? It was in my name. I'd have her evicted. The boutique? I had funded every dime. It was mine now. The car? The insurance was under my name. I take that back too. Emily was about to learn what it felt like to have nothing. And the best part? She wouldn't even see it coming. Revenge wasn't about rage. It was about precision. I wasn't going to shout. I wasn't going to argue. I wasn't going to give Emily the satisfaction of an emotional confrontation. No, she was going to wake up one day and find her perfect world crumbling beneath her feet. And by the time she realized what had happened, it would already be too late. Emily's dream boutique was nothing without me. She had the vision, sure, but I was the one who funded it. Every designer shelf, every imported dress, every piece of expensive decor. It was all my money. So, the first thing I did was strip her name off the ownership. It wasn't even difficult. She had never bothered to check the fine print. I still owned 100% of the business. All it took was a meeting with my lawyer, a few signatures, and just like that, Emily was no longer the proud owner of a high-end fashion boutique. I changed the locks. I removed her from the payroll. I even sent a notice to her employees that the store was under new management. By the time Emily found out, she wouldn't just be out of a job. She would be locked out of her own dream. That luxury high-rise Emily loved so much, the one with the marble countertops and floor-to-ceiling windows, also mine. She liked to call it our place, But the lease was under my name. I had paid the deposits. I had furnished every inch of it. And now, I was taking it back. I called the building management and terminated the lease. Since I had already paid the next 2 months, I had one request: clear out everything by tomorrow. That night, I watched from my car as a moving crew carried every single thing out of that apartment. The designer furniture? Gone. The vanity mirror where she spent hours getting ready? Gone. The king-sized bed she shared with him? Gone. By the time they finished, the apartment was a hollow shell. And for the final touch, I left a single note on the kitchen counter. I saw the tick-tock. I know everything. Goodbye. Emily loved her white BMW. She loved posting pictures of it, captioning them with things like, "Independent women drive luxury." Independent? That car had my name on the title. My money had paid for it. And now? It was going back where it belonged. I called my dealership and had them repossess it overnight. No warning. No message. By morning, Emily would step out of her empty apartment expecting to drive away, only to find nothing but an empty parking spot. The next evening, I turned off my phone and went to a rooftop bar, watching the city lights flicker beneath me. Emily would be home by now. She would walk into the empty apartment. She would freeze, trying to understand why all her things were missing. Then, she'd see the note. She'd read it once, then again, and that's when the panic would set in. I pictured her grabbing her phone, trying to call me, only to realize that my number was blocked. She would rush downstairs, ready to drive to my place, only to find her car missing. No apartment, no boutique, no car, nothing. Emily had spent months playing me for a fool. Now, she was the one left with nothing but regret. And I was finally free. When the walls of a perfect life collapse, they don't do so slowly. They fall all at once. Emily had spent years building the illusion of control. Her perfect relationship, her thriving boutique, her luxurious lifestyle. She had crafted an image of independence, of power, of a woman who had it all. But now she was nothing. And the moment she realized it, panic set in. The first thing she did was call me. The moment she saw the empty apartment, the missing furniture, and the note on the counter, she grabbed her phone and dialed my number with shaking hands. Voicemail. She tried again. Voicemail. She texted, "James, what's going on? Where is all my stuff? James, I'm serious, answer me. James, please, we need to talk. I can explain." Blocked. Her heart started pounding. She tried WhatsApp. Blocked. Instagram? Blocked. Email? Blocked. She couldn't reach me anywhere. That's when the reality hit her. This wasn't some petty argument. This wasn't something she could fix with a few sweet words or fake tears. This was the end. Desperate, Emily drove straight to my office. Or rather, she tried. Because when she arrived at the sleek glass building, security was already expecting her. "Ma'am, you're not allowed inside." Emily's breath caught in her throat. "What? No, you don't understand. I just need to see James." The security guard remained stone-faced. "Mr. Carter left specific instructions. You are not permitted on the premises." Her jaw clenched. "This is ridiculous. I'm his girlfriend." The guard's expression didn't change. Not anymore. Emily lost it. She yelled, argued, demanded to be let in. But no one cared. No one was listening. She had no power here. After 20 minutes of pleading and causing a scene, the guards escorted her out of the building. She felt humiliated. For the first time in years, she felt small. If she couldn't get to me, she'd go through our mutual friends. She called Rachel, one of our closest friends. The call rang once before going straight to voicemail. She tried Mark. Voicemail. One after another, she called every person in our circle. No one answered. Confused, she checked her texts. That's when she saw it. I had told them everything. I had sent the TikTok video, the receipts, the photos, everything. She wasn't just cut off from me. She was cut off from everyone. No one wanted to be associated with her. No one wanted to help her. She was truly alone. Emily's final hope was Damien. The man she had risked everything for. The man she had been sneaking around with. The man who had promised her excitement, luxury, a different kind of life. She texted him frantically. "Baby, I need you right now. Call me ASAP. Please, Damien. I need somewhere to stay. James found out about us. I don't know what to do." No reply. She tried calling. Straight to voicemail. Her chest tightened. Panic turned into real fear. Damien was ignoring her. She checked his Instagram. No new posts. She checked his last seen on WhatsApp. Hours ago. She called again. Still voicemail. And then it clicked. Damien wasn't going to rescue her. He had been fine with their little affair when it was fun, when it was a secret, when there were no consequences. But now? Now she was baggage. Now she was drama. And Damien wasn't the type of man to deal with drama. She had risked everything for him. And in the end, he didn't even have the decency to say goodbye. Emily sat in her car, staring at her phone, her hands trembling. No apartment, no money, no job, no friends, no lover. For the first time in years, she was well and truly alone. Tears welled in her eyes as she clutched the steering wheel, her breathing ragged. She had been so sure she was in control. She had been so sure she could play both sides and never get caught. She had been so sure I would always be there, always love her, always forgive her. But she was wrong. And now, she had nothing. And worst of all, she knew she had done this to herself. The storm raged outside, the wind howling through the empty streets, and the rain fell in relentless sheets against my windows. It was past midnight when I heard it, the frantic knocking at my door. At first, I ignored it, but then I heard her voice. "James, please, please, open the door." Emily, drenched, desperate, destroyed. I stood in my living room, gripping a glass of whiskey, watching the door as her cries grew more frantic. I had expected this. I knew she'd come, because people like Emily never truly realize what they have until it's gone. When I finally opened the door, the sight of her should have hurt me. It didn't. She stood there, her once perfect hair plastered to her face, her makeup smeared, her dress soaked through, her arms wrapped around herself, shivering, eyes wild with desperation. "James," she choked, voice trembling. For a second, she just stood there, staring at me, her lower lip quivering. Then she fell to her knees. Right there, on my doorstep, in the pouring rain. "Please, please, just listen to me." I didn't move, didn't blink. I just stared at her, feeling nothing. "It was a mistake," she sobbed, gripping the wet fabric of her dress. I wasn't thinking. I was confused. "I love you, James. I swear I do. I don't know what I was doing." She clutched at my pant leg like a drowning woman. "Please, don't shut me out. I'll do anything. I'll fix this. I'll prove to you that I love you. Just give me another chance." Her voice cracked as she sobbed harder. "I was stupid. I was selfish. But I never stopped loving you." I let her cry. Let her scream. Let her drown in the storm she created. Because I wasn't the same man I was before. The man who would have believed her. The man who would have picked her up off the ground and held her. The man who would have said, "It's okay. I forgive you." That man? He was gone. I crouched down, leveling my gaze with hers, my voice calm. "You weren't sorry when you were in his arms." Her breath hitched. "You weren't sorry when you were canceling our dates, hiding your phone, lying to my face." I tilted my head, watching as the realization hit her like a freight train. "You're not sorry for hurting me, Emily. You're sorry you lost everything I gave you." Her lips parted in a silent gasp, her tears mixing with the rain as she shook her head violently. No, that's not true. James, please, you have to believe me." I stood up, stepping back, the final step away from her. And then, with all the coldness she deserved, I said the words that ended it all. "Now you can live with that choice." I stepped inside and shut the door. I didn't look out the window to see how long she stayed there, sobbing in the rain. I didn't care, because for the first time in years, I felt something I never thought I would: peace. And as the storm outside raged on, Emily finally understood what true loss felt like. Not just losing a man, but losing the only man who ever truly loved her. And that was her real punishment. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thrilling tales. What would you have done in James' situation? Let me know in the comments below. See you soon in our next story.